Are we live? I think we're live. All right.
Yeah,
Hello all. This is the Plutocrats, episode 1. Sean Mann is here. Phil Greiser there. Um, our backgrounds are finance and economics, respectively. Both entrepreneurs, though, and both big believers in the American capitalism. So we're going to talk all things, pop culture, finance, politics. We're going to touch it all. So that's it. Let's jump into it. So what do you want to start with? Elections, since we got 4 days left here?
definitely. Let's hop into the election. And what do you think about this whole Biden family corruption so close to the election? It's kind of like, remember how in 2016 the whole thing with Hillary came out right before the election, and they said that big tech blew her chances because they let the story spread the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I think about it. Honestly, I think about it like a jockey riding the horse around. Trump, like the jockey riding the horse around, riding around the track. And as soon as he hits the home stretch there, he kind of kicks the horse and says, "Let's get it into gear." And it's like almost everything starts flowing. Instead of leaking it out over time, they kind of just let it all rip in one shot, right at the last minute.
Yeah, no doubt. But like, I just find it weird that the first time when Hillary lost, they really emphasized that, like, Facebook specifically, and they blame Mark Zuckerberg ridiculously, saying that because he allowed the whole corruption thing with Loretta Jones and that plane to go around right before the election, that he locked Donald Trump in for the win. And now this time, look at Twitter, look at Facebook, they stopped it from being shared. They're still stopping it from being shared. Like,
We got Jack Dorsey looking homeless on the stand. Uh, they're hiding anything that has to do with the Republican Party, really, or anything anti-Biden.
even more than that, honestly, I didn't know this. The other day, I got a picture sent to me on Instagram, and one of the hashtags was hashtag deep state, right?
Yeah,
Now, I'm not some conspiracy theorist and whatnot, but I clicked the hashtag. Instagram doesn't allow you to follow the hashtag anymore. Like, you can't, when you click it, it says this hashtag no longer exists. So, like, you can't see every post hashtagged deep state. They're trying to just control the flow of information. It's weird that right before the election is when all this starts happening.
I see what you mean. Yeah. So did you see the Tony Boblinski stuff? Did you see that, the interview and everything?
No, I didn't.
So yeah, I think it was on Fox News. Tony Boblinski, the former Biden associate. Yep. Now you know what I'm
I know who
saying.
you're speaking of.
And the quote, here it is: Joe Biden and his family are compromised, he said. Former business associate. This is a former business associate for Biden's dealings with the CCP and the Chinese energy company there. He was the big man.
Mhm. No, I mean, I know what you're saying about him. And whistleblowers, definitely, like, you need whistleblowers. But the way I look at that guy is like, why is he opening his mouth now? He's been doing all things. I really feel like that he's got some type of other agenda going on as well.
Yeah,
I think it's good that all this came out. It needs to come out. It needs to come out so that the people know. But why is this man opening his mouth now? Who screwed him into speaking now? Did Biden stop paying this man? Like, what happened? I want to know the whole backstory on him too.
Yeah, and you're probably never going to hear it, honestly.
Never. That's the sad thing about it. We have so much information, so much free information flowing around, but there's still this central source to control it.
Well, maybe you'll hear it depending on what happens there in 4 days. What do you think about the ACB here? How big of a deal actually is that?
I think that's absolutely huge. What does that put us at 6-3 right now for the conservatives, as people call it?
That puts conservatives at 6 and Democrat or liberals at 3.
Well, personally, I really don't think anyone's packing the courts, because that's just
Really?
I think it's a zero-sum game, because I think the Democrats know the Republicans are going to get in power. Like, the Democrats can't be in power forever. Eventually, Republicans are going to get in, they're going to pack the court, or they're going to do something to equal out their power. Like, eventually, everyone's just going to be power back and forth. So
I see it as the flip side. I see, And I think in the vice presidential debate, Kamala Harris kind of tipped her hand when she did her little you want to talk about packing the court, you want to talk about packing the court, and then never gave a real answer. But she said, what was it? She said, "Do you want to talk about packing the court? Do you know how many justices are African American?" And boop, you tipped your hand. We know exactly where you're going as soon as November 4th comes in. If you were to win, you're going with the racism card, and you're pumping them full. You're just putting as many.
Yeah, she was speaking on the federal judge on the federal like circuit level. Where Trump appointed, I think it was over 350 judges in his last 4 years. So not the Supreme Court, but the lower level below that.
That's what you think she was talking about.
Yeah, that is what she was talking about because he literally put a historic number. It was over 300. I'm gonna look it up right now actually, but it was over 300 judges, I believe. I think it was like 350.
Yeah, it is somewhere around 350 judges that he has. Yeah. Might be even higher towards like 380. But I think, just with ACB, woman, spotless resume, never did anything wrong. She knows how to answer the questions. I think Trump really couldn't have hit a better nail on the head. And he knew if he put someone up there that was even the least bit sketchy, they were coming after him, and went with a sure thing.
No doubt, he picked someone of a good moral, upstanding, good character.
Yeah. What happened to Kavanaugh? The worst thing in history, the most embarrassing thing. What happened to Kavanaugh was horrible and terrible. But
exactly,
if he put anyone of similar stature, I don't want to say to Kavanaugh, it would have been just an absolute shit show.
Yeah, and gonna judge fairly. And comes up that Trump needs in one way, I feel like she would go against him for the Constitution. She's not playing those sides. I think she would definitely. She seems like the type of lady that would tell Trump to go shove it. Like, this is what the Constitution says.
Oh, without a doubt, I see that. She'll stick to it.
She seems like that stern mother. That's why she's got 7 kids. She seems like the mother that could backhand the kid and then at the same time come and give him a hug.
I agree. She sticks to the guns. What about this one? Can I change my vote becoming one of the most highly Googled things directly after the second debate?
That is absolutely insane because you know what? People have been voting now for how long? It's been like
weeks. In some places, before the second debate, they're voting.
Exactly. It makes no sense, kind of. When have we ever had something like this?
Yeah. Never. What was it? Here, I got the set here. Texas early voting has now surpassed all 2016 voting for the state.
See, that's bugging out. Like, how can you even believe that it's real at that point? Almost like.
I think it just means people are coming out there. If one thing's good coming from the media, it's that people should voice their opinions, and they actually are getting people out there to vote now. Whether or not they're trying to push them to vote for one side or the other, that's not necessarily the same thing.
I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I feel like if you only have 30% of the voting population vote every year, and the next 60% is already voted, it's almost like someone's just handed in mail-in ballots. I could see where the voter fraud type vibe comes from people.
No, I understand.
Not that I want to see a contested election. I don't want to see any of that, but it's just crazy.
Let's say if it goes down to the courts now, though, it's all but locked up in Trump's favor. If it gets that deep,
I would say if it gets that deep, I would say it's locked in Trump's favor.
Has to be.
What do you think Wall Street's pricing in for this election?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I don't know. Right now it looks like the JP charts and the Goldman charts are going back towards a 50-50 ball game, the flip of a coin. So I would say that's kind of what they're pricing in.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But what do you see happening if we get a Trump victory, Democratic House and Senate?
Stalemate. 4 years of stalemate. I hope not, but at this point, that's what it's looking like. What do you
Yeah.
think?
No, I agree with on that aspect. But you think we're getting a stimulus either way?
Uh, I mean, I think if it's Democrat, they're coming big
Oh,
stimulus heavily.
big. I think
Um,
huge stimulus in that case. Trillions.
yeah, yeah. On the flip side, I would say no, probably no stimulus in the near future, probably other than, I mean, I don't know.
I
At
kind of think we're gonna have stimulus no matter what, to be honest. I think Trump
some
will
point, you
even
have to stop in some sense. Now you're talking Federal Reserve and stuff like that, but in terms of direct stimulus to the
like payments. I don't know about that, but I'm
good
talking
night,
like
it's
even if
gone.
Trump gets in, he might
That's
start
a
building
terrible, terrible.
bridges, roads, all that type of stuff. I'm talking he might have federal work programs. I'm thinking.
Hopefully, finally pass the infrastructure, which has been one of his downsides that
Yeah,
he hasn't put that through yet. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. That was one of his big things he was talking about in fucking 2016.
Yeah, I mean, he's been
Before,
pushing it for years and just hasn't put it into place. And we do need it. We need it throughout the country. Everywhere that I go, it looks like we need it, honestly.
yeah, and he's
Uh,
definitely had an uphill battle with Congress being against him the whole time and whatnot. But it would be nice to see him get some stuff done that he said he would.
let's hope. Let's hope. What do you think about taxes? You think how many days do you think Biden would wait before he starts firing up the taxes like no one's business?
I don't know. And after the taxes, I'm a big believer in the Laffer curve. I think there comes a point where like he can raise the taxes to 100%, and it's still going to be less. The government will make less money. For example, don't know if this is true, but say he raises the taxes from 45% to 65%. People are going to avoid taxes, then stop paying taxes, move to other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always that equilibrium point. So
Yeah.
I think he'll definitely jack. Taxes are always going up. Taxes are most likely
From
always going up.
and yeah, that's something
They
that
rarely go down.
everybody that I talk to is taxes are going up from here. But the point being, the more you tax, the more you tax these business owners, the more you tax these wealthy people who are employing the rest of the people you're trying to help, per se. Uh, Not only are the people you're trying to help going to be paying more taxes, because taxes aren't just going to go up on the rich, they're going to go up on everybody when they go up. And those rich people are thus not going to have the money to pay as many people higher salaries, wage growth stagnated, and in worst case scenario, they have to start laying people off in large quantities, which we're already seeing that people have to lay people off. We saw, who was it last week that 40,000 jobs? Who was that? Let me look it up. I didn't.
I mean the banks a few weeks ago, they just sent like 10, 15,000. I know around us in New York, Northwell just sent like 2,000.
Maybe it was the
The
banks
layoffs
that I was thinking.
definitely the layoffs are definitely getting scary. That's one of the things with Northwell laying people off. I see that as a real weakness in the economy because it's healthcare. And what have we been dealing with for the past 9, 10 months? Healthcare issues. So why is our healthcare systems laying people off? There's obviously some type of weakness right now. You know what I mean? They literally don't have the money to pay these people.
They have the most demand of any industry right now. I mean, that's what we
Exactly.
need.
And they're still laying people off.
Yeah.
It's
Meanwhile,
crazy.
I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a lot of nurses, our age, young nurses, and they're all living all these crazy lives. They're acting like they're balling out. Might be a bubble there now. The nursing bubble.
That's the thing. I've talked to people kind of extensively on this. Like regular nurses, they're not really the ones that risk to get laid off before everyone. It's really the middle management. Like
Yeah.
the nurses that moved up and they're the nurse manager now, they're more
Hmm.
likely to cut her being the nurse manager than they are cutting the staff nurse taking care of the
Makes sense.
COVID
Yeah,
patient.
she's not directly patient for one. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so let's shift off elections and taxes. I mean, we might come into play here again, but what do you think about Bezos looking into buying CNN?
absolutely You know what? He's reminding me of Rockefeller. He's
You think?
really reminding me of Rockefeller. Between the man takes losses on his products to be able to outprice like Target, the brick and mortar stores, Walmart. So he's taking loss. I shouldn't. I don't even think that is legal. But besides the point, now he's trying to take over all the media. The man already owns the Washington Post.
Yeah.
Why does he need more media?
Well, I mean, I don't. It's odd because he is without a doubt 100% the biggest capitalist out there. He's running the
Exactly.
capitalist
Not
way of life, but
respectfully done.
100%. But he's got to have some type of you know agenda that he's trying to push through. With buying all these companies. I wouldn't. You wouldn't go out there and just buy a media company if you're looking for the margins. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he's just. And I don't know, is it just the game at this point? Is he actually trying to push some type of specific agenda? And you seen by someone like CNN, you think you make the decision for yourself.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean with that, but it's a fine line of where do we. I don't like regulation. I don't. I'm a free market person, but it's a fine line of when does he control too much?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Is that point? There definitely is.
And like you said, you got to give him credit.
No doubt.
Let the record show.
He took the
Bezos
risk.
knows how to play the game. Yeah.
Yeah, he figured out how to beat the game, which is impressive.
Good for him.
But nothing lasts forever either. So how are you supposed to tell this man he can't make more money?
And that's something that he's acknowledged, and that he's acknowledged that before is that, even he said Amazon may not, 40 years for sure, Amazon will probably be in charge. But after that, who knows? Somebody could come in and knock us out in a second. So who am I to stop pushing towards the top?
Who knows that? Look at all these businesses that people thought were these kings, these hitters, and then next thing you know, from billions to zero. That could be Amazon one day.
Could be.
Honestly, it really could. Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah. And the way people trade Amazon, it's just going to be like a Bitcoin thing where it doesn't gradually go down. When it's going to zero, it's trading at, it's trading at 3,000, then it's trading at 1,200, then it's trading at $4, and it's gone.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But so how are you supposed to tell him he can't make more money through other options? And then what if this man's fortune gets blown up? Very unlikely.
That would be very hard to do at this point.
It's happened before. Billionaires that have blown up their fortunes.
Yeah. You gotta keep pushing. I'm big on that.
Yeah. No doubt.
Did you watch much of the Section 230 hearing?
I tuned in a bit throughout the day. What about you? Did you sit down and watch it?
The main thing that I saw was the Ted Cruz going absolutely berserk.
Oh, he went in.
Yeah, he went off.
Who was that? He was going. Was that
Jack
Dorsey?
Dorsey, yeah. It was Dorsey.
It was Dorsey.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get when you show up.
The single biggest threat to free speech in America and the greatest threat that we have to a fair election, he called Twitter. He says, does Twitter have the ability to influence the election? Dorsey, no. Cruz, if you don't think you have the power to influence the elections, why are you blocking anything at all? No answer, I don't think, from Dorsey on that one. Zuckerberg also not aware that his election integrity official, this guy, was a former Biden employee. Didn't know.
I saw that.
How are you unaware of something like that as the CEO or as the owner? That's incredible.
I think it's honestly absolutely mind-boggling that when this Hunter Biden stuff came out, that their whole excuse was that it was stolen information. Because you know what? Then why? Remember when arsonage and the whole NSA came out and that man had to dip off to Russia. Like, those papers were flying around Twitter. All that NSA information that was all hacked, stolen data.
It's
Everything,
like
all like, what's it called? All like, even Biden's partner, like talking like that's stolen data, kind of like it's
like
all
letting them get away like OJ got away because the stuff was stolen. So
exactly. They're using that as an excuse, but meanwhile, everything on Twitter is like some type of stolen, hacked data that's getting passed around, and like it just it's just fake censorship. They just censor the one side, and they know it. They know it. Jack
yeah,
Dorsey knows it.
yeah, it's like it's a backdoor censorship. We call it a backdoor. Yeah.
I
Uh,
just don't understand how Jack Dorsey be running around looking like he does when he's the owner of two, not one, but two multi-billion-dollar companies.
incredible. Yeah. He's an eccentric dude. He's a different dude.
He is. He only takes cold showers.
Yeah, I did know that actually. I
Yeah,
don't
he
know how
says
that
it's
helps
over
very
fucking
much, but
day.
the shower is like my sanctity. I love a nice warm shower.
Me too, yo. I don't think I could ever be that guy.
This is good. Sometimes I take them in the morning, and then by like late at night when I come home from work, I'll be freezing because it's fucking just absolutely freezing outside. Come in, and I'm just like, damn. I probably shouldn't shower again for the second time today, but it'd be real nice to hop in there and it'd be so warm. I never do, but I always want to.
Literally. Nah, I know that feeling though.
What are you thinking about Uber? So California did vote to make the Uber drivers employees, but it's held up by an appeal or whatever, going to appeals court. So
I
what do
saw
you
that.
think? Resolution or Proposition 22?
I think if they do make them employees, Uber's gonna be on their way out real quick.
Very quick. Yeah.
Very quickly. I don't
Just
think
make
they
some taxi companies. I mean, and I multiple studies have shown that right around 80% of Uber and Lyft drivers would rather be contract 1099 employees. They don't want to be W2 employees. It changes the whole game of the
most of
game.
them do it on the side. Most of
It's,
them do it on the side. It's not their real job.
yeah, I mean there's a lot of them who even just drive Uber, especially in California. That's last time I was in California. It's incredible. There's more Ubers there than there is just normal people. Like they are just firing around. There's more Ubers than there's people needing Ubers. That's for sure,
Really.
without a doubt.
That is wild.
At least in San Diego. No,
No,
I
it's
mean I think it's
California is wilding for that, for trying to make them employees. That's gonna change more industries than just Uber too. That is gonna change
food delivery,
so.
all of them. Yeah, I mean, food delivery people become employees and everything, and then they're going to stop being. Uh, uh, how do you think that changes? Because they're not technically employees of the restaurant. So who would they be? They'd be employees of Grubhub, whoever it may be. There still.
Yeah, they would if California made all these gig economy workers employees of their firms that are getting them these jobs. It's just going to cost these firms so much money in healthcare. Think about just the healthcare alone for these people. Like,
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
they're going to have to start supplying health care, vacation days, all that stuff. There's just no way any company's going to start wanting to mess with that, especially
They're going
Uber.
to be
Uber
gone.
on the biggest end. So you think some small business is going to want to mess with that? No way.
Yeah, they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone very quick. Very quick. Future of the oil industry. So as we know in the last debate, Biden made the big statement. He made a big statement. He said that he's going to phase out the oil industry given he's elected. What are you thinking?
I think he's crazy. Honestly, that's my honest opinion. Crazy. I don't think oil's going anywhere for a while because one, you look at um, what's it called? Windmills. Part of those parts of the windmills are made using oils.
Oils, yeah. I mean, and the production of them is I've heard more or gives off more pollutants or pollutes the air more than the oil production by mass or whatever you want to say, as a side by side comparison.
It's
Also,
like
this is a good one. So everybody's trying to end and the fossil fuels and all that. We want to end fracking. Kamala Harris is going to end fracking on the first day that she steps into office. Uh, Production of cows or farming for cows uh,
Yeah, that's
produces
most
produces far more pollutants into the air than all of the fracking in America and all the oil drilling and energy production of
big
fossil fuels.
big farms. They pollute more than anything else, and they pay the most money to make you think that it's the oil companies. That's
Exactly.
part of it. It's you know what this is a good time to talk about these lockdowns. The oil is just like the lockdowns. It's all rooted in this fake science. Whereas you show me the scientific paper that shows me that lockdowns are more effective than having the economy open. We killed more people locking down our economy than COVID would have killed. It's a fact. But it's the same thing with this oil. They're pushing this science in front of you, telling you the oil is bad, but there's just as much stuff that's bad out there too. It's they're all
No, I
pushing their
agree.
power agenda. The
And I want
power
to I want to flip it on the head. How much do you know about the big farms? You know what I'm saying?
the
They
big
are
farm.
getting millions and really billions and billions of dollars in government subsidies, and
They
then they're
do
hiring illegal immigrants to work on the farms for dirt cheap pay
pennies.
and just pocketing the government subsidies year after year after year after year.
The government buys depending on what product it is. They buy mad of it, like for food storage.
Soybeans and corn.
Yeah, and this all started back. My man's the most socialist one of them all, FDR.
Indeed, he was.
What did he do to this country? Started by
Horrible.
we should have free market, man. That's
You
all I
just
got.
you get
All I gotta
rattled. You
stress.
can't even talk about it. You can't even talk
Some
about
some farmers just gotta fail. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Some farmers aren't meant to be farmers. They're meant to be workers on a farm.
it. I don't disagree there.
If the
All right, let's
government's got
talk
to
about
buy all the corn from you, you're really not a farmer. You're really just a government farmer. You're a serf.
you're the government controlling the factors of production. Really, they're just
Exactly.
paying for you to continue to operate.
Yeah. No, legitimately,
Yeah.
they're keeping you fed.
Yep. All right, let's turn to Armenia and Azerbaijan. You got a
This,
lot on this story. You like this one.
yeah. Wow, they this stuff is honestly wild. What's up, right?
So what the roots of it are, it's a fight over mutually occupied land between the two. Um, and Armenia started by declaring martial law. Then Azerbaijan, in the same day, declared martial law and put lockdowns in place in all their big cities and everything. Where we got Russia. Russia and China are on the Armenian side. Turkey on the Azerbaijan side. So it's a clash of big powers in that portion of the world.
Definitely. But you also got to look back deeper too. The Turkish, Azerbaijan, the Turkish and the Armenians hate each other
Hate
for
each
the
other.
past
Yeah, it's
35 years.
very true because of
The
the
genocide.
yeah. What is it? Let's see.
And what is it called?
China, India, and Russia are
Trump
the three.
actually.
China, India, and Russia are the three major arms suppliers of Armenia, while Turkey is the main arms supplier for Azerbaijan in that one.
Yes. And what I was actually looking into the Russian history with Armenia, and Armenia actually used to be a very pro-Russia country in the late 90s, early 2000s, because they were getting protection from Azerbaijan and Turkey actually from Russia. Then they had a new regime of power come in the past 10, 15 years that was kind of anti-Russian. And, Russia didn't like that necessarily. And now that they need these new arms due to this new conflict, the past like 2, 3 years, their government has been very pro-Russia again, which is very weird.
And then just in the last, very recently, China decided they were going to pump 15 billion into Armenia to build some smart city. How much do you know about the idea of an economic hitman?
Not much, to be honest.
Yeah, so it was. This is kind of what I think about this whole thing, and somewhat rooted in. I mean, America's done it for years, but in the Cold War era, when um, countries would hire these economic hitmen to go to other small, underdeveloped countries, and promise them or force them really to take the money in return for protection, arms, whatever it may be, and then they would also put together big engineering and construction projects for the underdeveloped countries, and then on the back end they would basically just say, and because we did that, we're entitled to all the natural resources and everything within your country. So what I think is that China's making a play here. They're putting the 15 billion in and saying we're pushing Russia out, we're pushing the Saudis out, and we're going to take this whole thing. We're going to take it all. We're not only going to back Armenia, but hope Armenia takes over Azerbaijan because they have the big backing. And
What
here we
about
are left with a lot of territory and resources.
what about turning them into a communist country?
Well, that's what's going to happen if they take them over. I mean, look at Hong Kong. What's going? Those people
That's
live
what I
free
mean. That's what I mean.
for
What if China's
ages.
there, like how we used to, like how you were saying, how the United States has done this before? What if it's like back in after World War II when we had, what was it, the Truman Doctrine, where we spent like hundreds of millions of dollars to keep like countries like Greece from turning into communist like USSR.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
maybe it's a new form of play like that. Like they're trying to recruit countries to their side, you know?
listen. You know what China 2025 is all about. I mean, the root cause as good as anyone. It's not. That's where they're headed. That's where they're headed.
I think the next major war in this country is going to be with China.
I would
Would not
probably
be
agree.
surprised.
Trump did broker a peace agreement on 1026 with the between the two, between Armenia and Azerbaijan, so at least a
All that, but
ceasefire. Yep.
yeah, but it hasn't been working out well. They were shooting at each other last night, actually.
Oh, brother. So that's going. He does it though. He
Yeah,
brings these people together and gets them to sign
he does.
sign deals. He's been doing it
He
for the
definitely
last
does.
few months. Yeah.
It's
I
the
don't know.
art
What
of
do you
the
want to
deal.
touch on
It's
next?
the art of the deal.
What's that?
I said it's the art of the deal. You know,
It is
we get
indeed.
what we voted for.
It is. And just before you jump there, we talked about Greece, and Turkey, really the tsunami and an earthquake this morning going on. See if I can share my
Yeah.
screen here and bring up the videos.
Oh, that's working.
This is inside Turkey.
Jesus. Wow. Just look at that stuff just being carried.
Oh, and yeah, it's taking people with it if it's pulling you.
No doubt. No
There's also
doubt.
one of a building collapse. Let me try and find it here. Oh, here it is.
So it was an earthquake, tsunami. It was multiple things.
Earthquake causing the tsunami. Yeah,
Jesus.
go back here. Yes, I
I
you see.
wonder. I wonder how that's gonna affect their whole Azerbaijan fights and everything because
What'd
Turkey
you
is
say
definitely.
that? What'd you say about that?
I wonder how that's gonna affect the Armenia Azerbaijan conflicts because Turkey is definitely one of the major players in that.
Yeah, I mean, you see, that's going to be that. I mean, in this, it looks like where was that in? Was it 2004? What was it? The Indian countries there, right off India, Malaysia, and
Oh,
those places.
yes, I know you're talking about that tsunami.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just water pouring in. That's taking people with it. You see that buildings
definitely.
collapsing. That was a 13 or so story building. That's coming down. And what type of healthcare system do you have in place to take that on while you're also trying to deal with everything else going on?
Definitely.
Well, all right. What do you want to do next? You want to talk about the violence right near you?
Yeah, we can talk about some big city violence.
Yeah, let's
So
talk about that. You want to hear these stats? Let's start with these stats before we
yeah,
go.
hit me
So
with
I'm
some
just gonna
stats.
read through these. So all right, three major cities that you all know: Chicago, LA, New York. Here we go. We got it. Chicago, 280 homicides over the summer, 599 killed year to date, 2,907 wounded. So 3,506, 3,506 people shot total, 660 total homicides. So of 660 homicides, 599 were shootings. And just in October alone, up to yesterday, or I'm sorry, this is as of 2 days ago, 297 people have been shot in Chicago. So just in October, 297. It's just absolutely insane. New York City, 362 murders year to date. That's up 32% from last year. 1,235 shooting incidents. That's up 92%. 1,515 victims. That's up 98%. LA, 266 killed year to date. That's up 25%. 2,158 shooting incidents. That's up 24%. And 975 victims. That's up 23%.
Absolutely insane, the numbers you listed. But listen to this. I honestly have a bold prediction about that.
Let's hear the bold
I don't,
prediction.
I don't think this is the peak. I think this is only the beginning, honestly. I think we're gonna see those numbers possibly triple before it gets better. I'm talking over 1,000 murders a year in New York. I'm talking 1,000 murders in the New York City area.
Back to New York or 1980.
That's
What is the cause though? What's causing it? I mean, what's changed in the past? What changed since
the
2019
past
other than the
4 years,
coronavirus?
5 years. Let me
Other than
tell
the
you.
coronavirus, and you're close to it. So Phil's on Long Island for everybody.
So,
Phil's on Long Island.
so Manis knows. So I've been working in the city since. Let's get an exact. I started working in the city in 2013, right? 2013. At 16 years old, and I was not scared to get on a subway, go walk around anywhere in Manhattan, whatnot. Never once did I think to myself, I probably shouldn't be here. Now, fast forward from 2013 to 2016, 1 year out of high school, working in the city. Now, all of a sudden, you get above 110th Street, things are a little sketchy. Subways, they're a little sketchy. Now, what's different between 2013, 2016? I think one of the big differences, Bill de Blasio. I hate to put the blame on one man, but he really came in and screwed up bad.
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, and then with
He
everything.
started. This is where I think it started. He started with the lesser crimes. So if you got caught pissing on the street back in 2010, you're getting arrested. You're going to jail for the night. And if you're homeless, you can't afford to bail yourself out. You're gonna sit your ass in jail till you sit in front of a judge. So that kept people off the streets. Kept things. Spitting on the sidewalk used to be a ticket. All things like that are no longer a crime. I'm talking one night I was out in the city probably like 8 months ago. I'm in a subway. All of a sudden I turn around. There's some homeless dude with his cock out taking a piss on the tracks. And that's not something that people need to be seeing.
It's not at all something that it's not something I want to be seeing.
It's a totally different vibe, and there's a lot more homeless out. There's definitely a lot more homeless. That's definitely one too. The crime has a lot to do with the homeless, and a lot of
the same thing. It's just homeless all over.
And a lot of the homeless they're just crazy. It comes down to it. They need mental health. We definitely have a serious mental health crisis in this country right
now. It's unquestionable. It's without a doubt. There's no question about it. There's no question. But I don't think that's the root cause of the gun violence though either. It's tough to say because you talk about 2013 and it's like, Chicago was off the walls in 2013 too. I mean, they've been just absolutely killing people at extreme rates for years and years. LA, I don't necessarily even really know about LA, but New York, And just being from afar, 2 hours away from it, I can see it. I know people who travel back and forth to the city like you, among others. I know people who live in the city, and it's just, it's come to the point where they're like, this is absolutely absurd.
It's
And I mean,
scary.
what about think about the rents? What was it? Your cousin or whatever? Her and her boyfriend they got a steal in the city, 800 a month or something like that. Take it today.
Yeah, it was in Queens. They were looking at a $1,200 a month apartment, one bedroom. I think it was one bedroom, a kitchen. It wasn't like a studio. They had an actual bedroom, a kitchen, a living room, and it was $1,200 a month. The dude calls them up like 4 days later. He's like, "Just take it off my hands, 800 a month right now."
That's like, listen, I finally got a decent tenant. Please get in there.
Exactly. They're just looking. The city is so right now, and actually, that definitely increased the gun. To carry guns anymore. If all of a sudden you were walking around on the street, you're a known banger, and you knock me over every single day and frisk me because I'm a known banger, you're not going to carry a gun on the street with you because you're not trying to go to jail every freaking week. Now, why would you carry a gun?
They're not going to touch you. Yeah, and I mean,
plain clothes.
If you're gonna legally go and get your gun, carry it. Thank you. I mean, but
yeah. Well,
thing is, those
you
people that are legally going to carry guns don't just indiscriminately
bullshit.
fire around neighborhoods, and that's where the big problem. Literally just indiscriminately.
Well, I'll be honest though, I don't think even these gangbangers and whatnot, I don't think they go out looking to kill random people. I don't think anybody goes out looking to just kill some random person.
No.
Now, should they just be go out there shooting up people like some idiots? No, definitely not. But I don't think they go out there with that intent. I think a lot of it has to do with they have this own thought in their head, like, I need to protect myself. The police aren't going to protect. Is going to try to kill me or my family.
Yeah, and I mean, it's understood.
They put themselves in that situation of gangbanging and doing these things.
But the question becomes, how do you stop it? How do you stop it? How do you eliminate it? You're not going to stop it. So how do you slow it as much as possible? You need Rudy Giuliani back if you can get his prick back in his pants and sit up there instead of
de Blasio. That's what we need. The broken windows policies. That's literally what Rudy Giuliani started, was the broken windows, and that was started arresting people for taking pisses in public, arresting people for graffiti, arresting people for the little crimes.
Listen, Rudy is going off the walls a little bit, but
he has gone off the walls a little bit recently.
He's a legend for what he did for New York City for a long time, without a doubt. Let's talk about college funding here. U.S. colleges not only are they taking billions of dollars from foreign governments, Qatar, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, being a number of them, Russia, and the big colleges, the biggest colleges in the country, the biggest ones that you think of. But not only are they taking billions, they're failing to report it. They're not reporting it. Over $6 billion in unreported gifts, 3.6 billion of which was unreported by just 10 schools: Cornell, Yale, Colorado Boulder, University of Texas, MD Anderson Cancer Center, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, UChicago, UPenn, BU, Texas A&M, and Carnegie Mellon. Also included on the list of other unreported donors or unreported receivers of donations: Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Georgetown. Yeah.
It's the big one.
What do you think?
Big one.
Yeah, this is a big one.
So honestly, I don't get why they wouldn't report it. So that makes no sense. Just report it. Because you know what? These other countries, damn well they should be giving us freaking money. Why do all their students come here? You ever hear some Chinese person going, "Oh, I want to go to college over in China"? No, they come to America.
The thing is, and it's, been proven true. There's multiple things that are proven true. I watched it's actually a Joe Rogan interview not too long ago, and I forget the guy's name. I'll have to get it for the next episode. But he talked about this same issue, and it was the fact that not only are they giving the funds, but they're giving the funds with also, you know, a CCP official coming over, who, you know, oh, let me look at the textbooks. Oh, you know, let's keep that out. You know, let's not. We're not going to necessarily bend the history, but we're just going to, you know, let's keep that out about China. Let's keep that out about Russia and stuff like that. So they're, you know, modifying or censoring what we're teaching about foreign governments that come along with these
But
fundings. And that's where the real danger is. That's where the real
I agree with you. But let me ask you, are these like, I know some of these schools are obviously state schools, they're state funded institutions, but some of these schools are private schools. So why should the government, though, you know, have a say? Any government, not just China, our government, you know, like it's kind of at the discretion of the private school. I personally feel depends on
but
the situation.
you
You
also
have a
have to
school like
disclose that,
Colorado.
or at least the parents. So for all parents who are, you know, looking for colleges, you need to start asking these questions. You know, you need to start
Definitely.
asking,
No, I agree.
where is this funding coming from, and what are we doing with the funding that's coming from China? You know, my brother just started at a private school, you know, that I graduated from back in the day, and we had exchange students then, and they have exchange students now from China, and there's a lot of funding that comes along with that, and it's something that my dad asked when he sat down. You know, what are you going to do with the funding that's coming from China? I'm interested in, you know, what are you teaching about this? How do you feel about capitalism? You should be asking, you know, if you're going to go to a private school, you should be asking things like that.
No, definitely. 100%. Now state funded schools, that's a totally different story. Once you start playing with state money, I feel like you've lost start part of your,
You
I don't
do
want to
lose
say
it
right. I don't want to say rights because you never lose your rights, but you lose some of your privileges of operation of how you can operate.
without a doubt. Yeah.
Now, not reporting, that makes no sense to me. That makes me think that there is something much bigger, something fishy going on. Because if it was all legit if it was all legit, all nothing wrong going on, they're not influencing this whole nine, then why not just report it? Why not
Right.
just tell the government, like, look, they gave us freaking money, like we're trying to
375 million you got from
we're trying to
overseas
build
in
a new building, you know? We're
3
trying to
years.
build a new building.
Yeah, you know, that's fine. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're private in, yeah, but just tell
But
us what's
clearly,
going on. And
there's something more going on.
let's not act like the especially the private colleges aren't just a cash making entity or a money making entity. You know, that's
colleges
that
are
is true. That
colleges are
is true.
hedge funds.
That's
Colleges are giant hedge funds that have education programs at the end of the day.
what
Harvard's
about this
endowment
one?
fund is bigger than their actual freaking school budget.
It's incredible. What about this one? Huawei, or you know, the company who Trump banned,
Yeah. The
funded
5G company.
obviously
The Chinese 5G company. They
5G
built
company funded by the CCP, was one of the main funders for 10 universities that failed to report case.
I did see
So
that. No, it's wild. I think, don't get me wrong, I think part of it is quid pro quo. You know, we fund you, we want information on new
he said
technology that
quid pro quo. You brought it up. Go ahead. Go ahead.
like I think a lot of it is that. I think a lot of it is like because like Hawaii, they obviously need the technology. I think a lot of it is, you know, we're gonna give you $4 billion, but when communications technology, we want first dibs on it. Which, you know what? Screw that. Your college is in America. You best be selling that to the United States government first.
Yeah, I mean,
Or else, even if
United
you're
States
Harvard
company.
and you've been here since 1600, you can get out.
Yeah, and it's not even that, but if they root themselves in if you're think about this, if you're really going to change a country, how do you do it? When we went over to the Middle East, what was the goal of that? You're not changing the old folks. You're not changing the people who have already been living for 50 years. They're in their ways. You're not changing them. You're going to change the three youngest generations and then the generations after that. And how do you do it? Through the schools. So if they can kind of seed their, you know, CCP
I totally
ideals
agree with you.
into schools all over the place.
I totally agree with you, but I also see that I also feel that like a lot of education, a lot of education everywhere. Like even we don't realize it because we were younger, but there was probably a ton of propaganda when we were sitting down in our elementary school classes reading our little history books, you know? Like stuff
Without a
that wasn't
doubt.
told 100% true to us. So I feel like a lot of education. I feel like a lot of educators rely too much on the state to begin with these days,
I wouldn't
and
disagree.
that's something that we need to break away from in general as a whole society.
I mean,
Not
listen, I went to
necessarily homeschooled, because that I feel like something about homeschooling is just weird to me. I don't know. I feel like kids got to be out
you have to
socializing.
be social. You have to be social. You know, we're social. But I mean, I'll give you my, what I did in college, for example. I, went to school for finance. I'm sitting in finance classrooms with a bunch of people who they say they know all these things about finance, but to me, I'm like, why are you sitting here if you know all this stuff? Why are you teaching it to me? You can go make money.
You
That's
can
why
go
we're
make
all here. We're here to go make money. So you're teaching it. Why aren't you doing it yourself? So they've never really been in that world, but they're teaching it. So that kind of always tweaked me as something wrong. But so it came to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sit in the class. I'll do your work. I'll take your tests. I'll do what I got to do. But I'm gonna take the bare roots of what you teach me and go out there and actually learn it by like applying it,
Mhm.
going deep onto issues on the internet my own, into books my own, on YouTube my own,
Definitely.
whatever it may Google Scholar, whatever it may be.
Think let me ask you to think about it this way. Say for example, you're going for some stupid high level math degree. You worked your way from freaking your baccalaureate through your PhD. What are you supposed to do now? You're either gonna go work for the government breaking codes, or you're gonna go work at a university. It becomes a point where if you go too high in degrees, you've kind of maxed yourself out for jobs, unless you do, like you said, you want to use your skills to go into the private world. So a lot of those, I feel like a lot of these university professors with their PhDs were kind of just dudes that couldn't make it in the private sector, but they
Yeah,
worked. They're smart people, definitely. It takes a lot of work to go through a PhD,
yeah.
write
But the
those.
idea of the idea of business school is just it's a little bit sideways because you're not going to learn business from business school.
Definitely. Now, medical stuff, on the other hand, like
You have to
when
learn
I
it in school.
people that I think college is BS, they're like, well, what about a doctor? A doctor needs college. Well, obviously, a
Of
doctor needs
course,
college. Of course.
medical, law, things like that. Of course, you need it. I mean,
But
you think about it, people are going to, and I'm not going to bash anybody. You think about it. You got people going to school for like, they're going to full on 4 year college degree to go for like beautician stuff. It's like
beautifications.
you could have in high school gone to the whatever that little program was. You could have learned it, and you could be out, renting a
That's
chair from somebody and doing it yourself, cash over,
that's part of the problem.
home cash.
I was talking to my parents about this the other day. Back when they were in high school, they had a class, home economics, where they learned how to balance a checkbook, do
I
taxes.
had that. I had that. But it
Now, I
was
didn't
it
have
was
that.
something that, well, you didn't learn how to balance a checkbook. I'm sorry, you learned how to cook freaking eggs, which I mean, there's people in caves making eggs. We
Yeah.
can figure out how to make an egg on our own. It's not that hard. But yeah, they learn nothing, and that's
There's
basis
definitely
for what
some
I
stuff
do.
that
Basis around what I do.
exactly. There's definitely some stuff at the lower end that we could be teaching that could knock a lot of college stuff out. People would be like, all right, I don't need to go to college to go relearn this, read this.
Yeah, I mean, and we both experienced it with the what do they call it, the where you take everything, the liberal arts education.
Yeah.
To an extent, it's not a bad thing, but when it comes down to it, you're just extending my stay here. You're costing me more
Yeah.
money for things that I didn't want to do or didn't want to
I
take. And now I
understand.
guess you accepted it by enrolling in the school and going there, which is
Yeah.
your own doing. But it's something that for parents and stuff that are on here, you got to think about it. You got to consider the fact that this is real. They're going after your money just as much as you're going after a good education. So
I totally understand needs to become a well-rounded mind and everything, but it is some ridiculousness. Think about the classes we really took, like some of the crowd we took, some of those art classes that were just total jokes.
yeah, and the root of
Literally
this came
wasted an
when
hour and
there
a
was
half.
availability for funding. If you really think about it, the whole liberal arts education took place when there was really availability for more funding through student loans, government student loans, things like that. As to where now, by and large, what I tell them, by and large, if you want to go to college, you could do absolutely no college planning. Your parents could do no college planning. You could have absolutely no money. If you want to go to college, you can go to college through some program or some loan, something.
Anybody can go to college now, literally.
Anybody can get there. So what I tell people, it's not about, and especially for like parents who are trying to, plan for college or do college planning, 529s, crap like that. It's like, what are you going to save in there? Are you going to save enough for one semester?
Literally, not
That's
even.
I say,
Just
what
15 grand.
I say, what is the goal here? To pay for one semester of college? Is your goal to pay for one semester of college, or to have a fully educated kid with all the opportunity in the world? They all say, obviously, a fully educated kid with all the opportunity in the world. So it's a matter of making the correct education as cheap as possible, and actually getting the things you need to get. Like not taking basket weaving, or not taking. And if you're an art major, go ahead and take art. But I'm a finance major. Why am I taking art where I got to go to the New York State Museum and take pictures of the Mona Lisa or whatever the hell it was, and bring them
Definitely,
back? And then I got to draw it. I can't draw. I can't even write nice. I got to type things if I got to hand it to somebody because I can't even write. And I'm expecting
definitely.
pictures.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I just
The liberal arts, the whole idea of the liberal arts education is a little. It seems like a big money grabbing scheme, especially when the price of college has increased like what 2,300% in the past. Like,
I say at minimum it's going 6% per year right now. Is what it's increasing, and
that is wild, absolutely wild.
yeah. I mean, if you had a business that you could say, if you're the dean of students or whatever or the president of a college, one of these big colleges, let's take my college, Siena, for example, and you're saying, I mean, if you can give me something that's going to give me 6% per year, in business growth after being open for over 100 years or 150 years, and it's just going to pump 6% per year up every single year, if not more, then sign me up. That's absolutely incredible.
Might be. I was listening to you still. I just had to get my dog off camera. But 6% a year. Let's realistically think about that. Like the market sometimes only does 6% a year. The price, and think about what college is going to cost in like 20 years. It's going to cost $100,000 a semester.
Yeah, I mean,
$1 million to send your kids to college.
Do the math right now. Let's pull it out. Let's see, 20 years, 6%. What do we think? 25,000 a semester.
Yeah, I would say on average right now, 25K room and board, books, the whole nine.
20 years. You want to know what it's going to be?
What?
80 grand, $80,178 for a semester. And I don't necessarily think it'll ever get to that. My
I don't think so
opinion
either.
is that college in the next 10 years is going to drastically change in the way it looks, the way it acts, the way it operates. But going along the trajectory we're going around now, for all you people who are having parents right now, 18 years from now, 15 years from now, you're looking at 75 grand a semester. That's absurd. You got to
very possibly could be if it goes on the same route.
And you got to start thinking about other ways to educate them. It's simple as that. Even the wealthy people aren't going to pay for that.
Literally. But like you said, the thing that's different about college today, I really think than like 40 years ago, is anybody can go. It doesn't matter. You don't need money.
Well, that's another thing. It's
that's why it's that's why it's pushed costs up so much.
How much does it cost? How much is the cost increasing per year versus how much is the return on that increasing cost investment? Going up per year, and it's not at the same rate. You're not making 6% per year by paying 6% per year more.
Definitely.
All right, let's talk about Ant Group. Biggest IPO ever. 34 billion is what they were expecting. It's going to be way over that, I think. It's a fintech firm. Jack Ma, my guy. I don't know how much you feel about him. I respect Jack Ma. I mean, accept what his government produces for him, but he's an innovator, man. He's the Elon Musk of China.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he really stole Bezos' idea and just jumped on board and said, I'm just going to make Amazon a. But you know what? He got it done.
Got the freedom to do it. That's what, I can't knock him for doing that. It was initially offered in Shanghai. It was at 284 times oversubscribed. The first day, what is it at now? Second day, it's like 800 times oversubscribed.
870% oversubscribed, I believe. 870%, yeah. So that's
A fintech firm. Now, I don't exactly know what they do. How much do you know about what they do?
I believe they're kind of like a Square, providing payments or
Payment
switch.
processing. That I did have a general idea that I thought that's what it was.
Speaking of payment processing, did you see Stone Cold recently?
I have not. What's it going at?
54.
No,
Yes.
I got out in the 32 or 33. Wow.
Got out at like 24.
No. Stone
Crazy.
Co. That's a Brazilian fintech. Warren Buffett bought a large percentage of it. I mean, not a majority stake. I think he's got 15 or.
He might have sold it by now, but
What was that?
he might have sold it by now. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
It's been like a year and a half since we bought it, so that 2 years.
You want to talk about longevity? Those two. The fact that both of them are still going at this age, either the money really does buy you longevity, but it also, something I always say is your health is your wealth. I mean, those guys can just continue to, if they died at 70, their net worth wouldn't be that big. If they died at 70,
Look at
and
Magic.
realistically, what?
Look at Magic Johnson. Your health, your wealth is your health. 100%. The man had AIDS.
He's a champion.
He's dead.
Champion with 3 different teams in the city now. LA, the Sparks, the WNBA team, and now the Dodgers. Which don't even get me started on the Dodgers. Don't get me started on the Dodgers. It's garbage that they won in the 60-game season. Of course, they get it done. Kershaw's arm isn't tired in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's a load of crap. Kevin Cash with the worst decision I've ever seen. He pulls Blake Snell. I just turned the TV off. I couldn't watch anymore. I knew it.
But how about hold on. How about that man testing positive for Corona in the middle of the game?
Let's talk about that. What do you think about that? So what happened? He tests positive. They pull him out of the game. Middle of the game.
No, hold on. The first test was inconclusive. They had a test that morning and it was inconclusive, and they let him play. He shouldn't have been allowed to play.
Shouldn't have been. So they pull him mid-game. Then he comes back on the field once they won. He's celebrating with him. He's going crazy. MLB says he well, I don't remember the exact quote, but basically said he completely disregarded what they said and just went out there anyway. I mean, can't blame him. It's a tough season. If his teammates didn't care, what?
No, trust me. I think the Corona is nothing. I think the flu is more dangerous than the Corona, but that's just me.
We'll see. I think this winter is a big. It'll tell us a lot, and we'll see after this election. I think that has a lot to do with what's going to play out here too.
What do you think? You think we ever go back towards lockdowns, even if the numbers start picking back up?
I'm not locking down again. I'm not locking down again. I'm telling you that.
I don't think in America we see another lockdown.
I'm still going to the office every day. I'm still doing work. If everybody else wants to lock down and go virtual, but I'm still getting up and going to the office.
Yeah. Well, did you see France is already preparing the lockdown? Europe's locking down again.
Europe is relocking down. Yeah. And listen, I don't want to. If Biden gets in control, we're likely getting locked down again. Is what
I honestly don't think so, bro.
I would say lockdown again, and it goes away quick, and then he's heralded as a hero who cured the fucking virus. Like he's, the Salt Bay, just drizzling fucking antibiotics. Yeah, just sprinkling and boom, it's gone. Poof.
Yeah. I mean, I know the Democrats and the media would love for a chance to be able to say that happened, but I can't see the country locking. Like, hold on, did you see? Well, I saw this yesterday. Gavin Newsom's Thanksgiving recommendations to the state of California. Tell me you saw
that. I didn't see that, but I saw Cuomo. So I don't know if you saw Cuomo's, but I did see.
Okay.
Cuomo. Not Newsom.
Well, no, listen to Gavin Newsom's. This man said, so let's start off with you got your head of your family, your grandmother, grandfather. They got 3 children, and they want to bring their 3 children's families. It's allowed to be your family and 2 extended families. So you got to pick 2 of your children's families that are allowed to come. You can't have all 3. You got to stay 6 feet apart from each other at all times. Outdoors, people are only allowed to come in and use your bathroom if you sanitize it regularly.
How can you how
And if you can't,
how
what?
can you how can you tell someone that they can't have they can't
You
allow
have to
someone
have
into their
Thanksgiving
house?
outdoors.
How can you say you
Exactly.
can't
Your own
allow someone
family.
into your house, your own family into your house? That's absolutely absurd.
Well, while we're on this subject, I'm about to look up this quote from a book.
What book you got? I'll
No,
show
we
you
don't
what I
like
got.
quotes. I normally don't like
What I just
really
started.
for.
This is the one I just got. Barbarians at the Gate. RJR Nabisco. Should be a good one. Just started it up. Thick. 509. That might take me 2 weeks, not one.
I can't find the exact quote right now. But it was something to the nature of there's no more fun in the streets, there's no more singing, there's no more dancing. The only thing that is allowed now is work. And that's what we've come to as a society. We have no entertainment anymore. We can't go to the bars. We can't go out to the clubs. We can't even go down and sit in a movie theater with people. Like it's just I don't know. I don't know. When did the Spanish flu did we see people locking down? We never did.
It just comes down to what is the end? Where is the end? And
Exactly.
right now we don't know. Right now we don't
They
know.
told us 2 weeks. They told us 2 weeks when we started.
You
Well,
know,
I remember
you
Cuomo's
remember
exact.
15 days to stop the spread, and then we had 30 days to stop the spread. So that was those were about 120 days ago now. So
Yeah,
here we are, still on Zoom.
exactly. If it was up to Cuomo, we would not be able to leave our houses right now.
Well, he would be hanging out with
Except
his
for work.
family. He's gonna have a big
Exactly.
old. He's gonna have a big old party on Thanksgiving. They're gonna have everybody.
Andrew, Chris, they're all going to be hanging out together.
Well, Chris, though, he has coronavirus. He tells people it's the worst thing in history, but then he's frolicking along the Long Island coast
The
like he's the
Hamptons,
Great
he's out of
Gatsby.
the
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who is this guy?
Who is this fella? Who's this
It's like
fella?
Pelosi. It's like Pelosi. She's out there getting her hair cut with no mask on, but yet no one can haircut.
And
It just
yeah,
makes it so she can look good for her Bloomberg interview. Like
I always
it's off.
yeah, so she can look good for her CNN interview with what's his name there, and then when he actually asks her a real
Don
question,
Lemon.
she gets fired up and just laughs at him whenever he asks the question. What was the people that we represent? The people that we represent. It's like you haven't done a good job. Sorry, Nance. Yeah.
She's a drunk. We just gotta leave it at that. There's no way she's not.
There's
either
no
that
way
or
she's not. She's not. Stamping your signable approval on that. You're sending it off.
yeah.
You hit send. She's a drunk.
It's that or pills. You know, there's a lot of Americans on pills these days.
You never know.
You wouldn't even know. They take a
All right,
hand here or there.
You got anything else before you want to wrap up here?
No, I think it was a pretty successful day.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for episode 1. We're back Wednesday. Wednesday and Friday, maybe Tuesday and Friday. We'll let you know via the Instagram, but or the YouTube. But every Tuesday or Wednesday and Friday is what it's going to be looking like. So we'll be back. All right.
Yep, no doubt. That's it.